Hi, welcome to another video. This is Mr. Chow from EnglishTuition.org. Now, you may have read in the news that we're going to scrap the old labels for the O levels and the N levels, and it's going to replace by something called the SEC. That's the Singapore Cambridge Education Certificate. So, does that mean that students do not have to take the O levels and the N levels anymore? Okay, before you go celebrating, let's take a look at what this replacement is all about. Okay, so you may have seen these headlines, and this is not exactly new news because this news has been released 2-3 years ago that the O levels and the N levels are going to be replaced by the new National Common Examination in 2027. And I think some of the news media outlets have picked up this news again because I think as a reminder for the 2024 intake, because then they will be the ones who will be affected by these changes. But what does this actually mean? Does it really mean that the students don't have to take the end of year exams, the national exams at the end of 4 years and 5 years? I think we need to take a deeper look so as to understand what these changes are all about. Okay, first of all, everything starts from subject banding. As you know, the MOE has been going around doing pilot tests in certain schools to allow for subject banding, and that's when students can take subjects at a higher or a lower level, right, regardless of their stream, right? For example, you could be in the NT stream, but you're allowed to take English at NA level simply because you just you have the ability, right? You're stronger in English, but while the rest of the subject you are taking at the NT level, right? So subject banding will allow the students to move across the different streams, and obviously this can affect the admission scores, right? So I think at the in the back of their mind, the MOE is always thinking, when they fully launch this subject banding, how is it going to affect the admission scores for all the students, right? So let's go further. Now, with the new changes, they're going to be mapping streams, right? This is not difficult to understand because all the Express, NA, and NT streams will be effectively renamed G3, G2, and G1 respectively, right? So Express become G3, NA become G2, and NT becomes G1. So the labels Express, NA, NT streams will be removed completely, and since these names are no longer since these streams are no longer available, right, the certificates cannot be named O levels and N levels because they only imply that students take subjects from a certain stream, right? For example, if you tell someone that you took the O levels, right, that just means that all the subjects are G3 subjects, right? But because of subject banding, that's no longer true, right? Because there will be a mixture of maybe between G3 and G2 subjects, or there may be a mixture if you're taking N levels, right? There may be a mixture of G2 and G1 subjects, and so on and so forth, right? That's why to prevent all this confusion, they just remove the O levels and the N levels, right? So this is mostly just a renaming exercise, right? It does not affect the need, right, to have national exams. So for those who celebrated too early, okay, with this understanding, you know that you still have to end up taking the national exams, right, whether it's O levels or N levels. So of course, this will have some impact on the admission scores. I think this is what most parents are concerned about. But these are largely positive changes, right? For example, the Poly Foundation program, which was available only to N-level students in the past, is being considered to be made available to G3 students as well, right? Meaning the Express students. Okay. However, the JC admission, in order to retain its rigor, right? There will be no change, right? So JC admission, if you're aiming for to send your child to A levels, then the child will require to take all G3 subjects. And poly admissions, well, the MOE is considering allowing students to include at most one G2 subject, right? But this has yet to be confirmed, right? So do look at the news to see whether if this is applicable, right? But all these changes, right, it will only take place for the on year 2027, right? So it only affects for students. The first batch to be affected is for students in the 2024 intake, which is next year, right? Okay, so in sum, right, is this good or bad? Okay, I feel that most of the developments are rather positive. Okay, in light of the fact that students are allowed to learn according to their own abilities. Right. In fact, I have taught one NT student before, who was from the NT stream, but he was allowed to take the English at NA, right? Because his English 10 is his strongest subject. Okay, and he did well in the N levels, and eventually he's got a B3. Okay, so I think having subject banding is a good development. Okay, then the converse is true, right? So if you go into enter into express streams, okay, and at the same time, you're not strong in all the subjects, right? Certain subjects you feel that they are slightly weaker, and you're allowed to take, at the easier G2 level, right? So if you're not aiming for JC, you're not aiming to go to university, right? Then that allows you to choose subjects that play to your strengths, okay, and then don't let your weaknesses drag the overall grades down, okay. But at the same time, there are a lot of side benefits, right? Because I think having this development also means that the good students will end up getting to know, the G3 students will end up getting to know, mix around with the G2 students, and G2 students can also mix around with G1 students, and so on and so forth, right? So in a way, this benefit is intangible because it creates a more diverse learning environment, okay, and students can mix around more with other students, right? So all in all, I think this is a good development, right? So hopefully you're not confused, and hopefully you find this video to be useful, right? So if you're serious about sending your child for lessons, please visit englishttution.org for the fees and the schedule. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.